Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. My name is Andrea Johnson. I'm a Reiki Master, Psychic Development Teacher, Manifestation Coach. Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe. Let's dive into some afterlife questions. Guys, as a psychic development teacher and as someone who has had spirits around them and even grew up in a funeral home. Yes, my dad, ironically enough, is a mortician, owns his own funeral home. Cheers. Grew up around death her entire life. I have formed my own opinion about the afterlife and have experienced metaphysical experiences with spirits and with communication in the other realm. So I have formed an idea or a belief around what exactly happens in our afterlife. And this is a question that I actually had a wonderful conversation with over the weekend with a beautiful soul. So let's go over the most common questions that I get asked about the afterlife. Question number 1. Do we have spirit teams in the other realm? The answer is yes. You are always divinely guided. Ultimately, you are never not alone. But let's talk a little bit about what spirit teams are. And your spirit team is just your angels, your guides, your guardian angels, and your passed over loved ones. They can be part of your spirit team as well too. But essentially, it just really does depend upon your definition on which spiritual team you're working with. Guardian angels typically are not passed over loved ones. Your spirit team, in my definition, are like your spirit guides and your angels. So it's a combination of beings that have evolved to be a spirit guide. So they lived enough human existences to raise their vibration to actually be a guide to help us humans here in the physical. They are very close in vibration to the human. So because of that, we can communicate with them a little bit better. Now, angels have never lived a human existence. They are so high vibrational, they cannot have those lower level frequencies in their energy field. So angels have never lived a human life. They have always remained very, very close to source. So each of us has a set of guides and angels or a guardian that is with you all the time since you basically come into the world from day one when you were birthed all the way till when you exit. This is nobody that you've met before, never been a part of your reality before. So it was assigned in the spiritual realm, if you want to call it that. Now, a higher perception way of thinking about angels, guides, and our spirit team is that they are unconscious aspects of yourself, because essentially, guys, we are everything. We are all the energies. So therefore, they are us. They are a reflection of us at a higher frequency that has entered into our reality. So you can think of this physical body just as a vessel harnessing the energy that is you, which is the idea that we think that we are, which ideas are energy, right? So it's a bunch of different ideas and beliefs and experiences that we have accumulated between our existence here on earth and merging with our soul or our highest self, which is the highest thought we hold about ourselves. And the highest thought that we hold about ourselves has high frequency energies. So that's always ever changing, but there is the underlying love, essentially God, source, universe, life force, that you ultimately are. You are the life force. So if you want to think about this on this scale of frequency, you are love. You are essentially all that is the highest frequency ever possible. You truly are that. But we also have between the dimensions from source, all the dimensions, all the way to the third, where we are at in the physical. You see my enthusiasm here. There is a level of frequency, and you as the human and the mind of God get to choose between all these different levels, between love and fear, what you would like to spin in your body, right? So that's always ever changing. With every thought that you have about yourself, you're reinventing yourself. So angels and spirit guides hold a different level of frequency than what you do. So they have higher energy. They have higher ways of thinking, meaning they have higher wisdom. And we get to tap into that, and we get to actually channel their energies here. And that's how they act as guides and healers for us, because they can bring our energy up and they can reframe our perception of life, which is our unique way of seeing the world around us, right? They can help us rewire our mind and change our physical bodies for healing and to live a better life full of fulfillment, meaning embodying more love here, to create with it, to learn about ourselves, which is ironically why we're here anyway, is to create and learn how to just create higher levels of frequencies and impact the world, if you want to call it that. It's kind of like a game almost, the way that you look at life. I don't really like to look at life like school. I like to look at it as it's a playground of creation and just trying to create the highest level of frequency for yourself and everybody else in your reality. So that's what angel and guides are there to help us do. And ultimately, like I said, they are just higher aspects of yourself. They vibrate a certain frequency and they can't drop down fully to our level of frequency. So that's why an angel can never be a human, because it can't go this low in frequency. This is the whole point of the human experience, right? Because we can go this low in frequency, and why this experience exists in the first place. As you evolve as the unique bundle of energy that is you, that we will call your soul, you will eventually level up and potentially be a guide one day, right? Next question. What happens to you in the afterlife? So my theory on this, guys, and just from after the NDEs, which are near-death experience that I've watched, and then just learning everything in my psychic development classes, and I actually got asked this question over the weekend: what do you believe happens to you when you die? And I will tell you guys, I believe what happens to you is what you believe. That's it. Because if you think about what it is that we are part of, what we are doing here in this earth realm, the mind of God, this universe is, or even to say potentially all universes that exist out there, is the mind of God, just with different rules, I would say. Everything is really a dream-like, just different levels of dreaming almost yourself into existence. So why would that change whenever we leave this physical body? We'll raise in vibration, obviously, because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form, which you yourself, your soul, is just energy, the true thing to only exist, right? So you're just leaving behind the physical body, which still is energy. It's just matter vibrating at a different frequency. So your soul leaves because it's no longer tied to the body. The cord has been cut, or the string of life has been cut, and your vessel is no longer able to house your energy. So you just raise in level of vibration, and dependent upon your energy in which you passed away in, the current beliefs and thoughts going through you at that time, of course, some of that will stay with the physical body, because some of that is cellular and stays with the body. But your emotional, mental, spiritual body, you know, those are more energies, will rise. So whatever was in that could potentially determine how far up you go in the dimensions whenever you leave. Do you shoot all the way back up to source? What kind of experience do you want to have? So this is where everybody, I feel like, is going to experience differently depending upon the beliefs that they have. Some people do believe in a heaven and a hell, and if they judge themselves so harshly and were in lower level frequencies in their life, then they might dream up a hell for a little bit in their reality when they pass over. But ultimately, I believe as you pass over, you are still a consciousness playing a game with itself. So in these other realms of existence, you're going to have other beings that exist, because essentially you are all that is. So whatever comes into your reality is going to be of like vibration. Still, the laws of the universe apply. just at different levels of frequencies. So if you believe that, you know, you're greeted with loved ones and gonna go to the gates of heaven, that might be what you do. If you believe that God will meet you there, you believe he's a man in the sky, that might be what happens. And then as you raise your vibration more and more and more, you keep waking up to the fact that all of this truly is you. So you just keep gaining wisdom. And like I said, a consciousness playing a game with itself, having experiences until it decides or realizes what it is in its power and returns to source, or returns to yourself, or basically wakes up to the reality that nothing truly exists at all but you. And that's kind of what I told the other person was, whatever you believe happens, happens. And ironically enough, the person was an atheist, and they were like, I don't believe anything's gonna happen. We're just gonna die, and that's it. And that might be what they experience. They might experience darkness and just consciousness. But I believe as well too, and I've actually seen near-death experiences of people who are atheists, that their reality is shifted because of their experience in the afterlife. And they do experience darkness for a little bit. And they're like, oh shit, you know? But like I said before, consciousness playing a game with itself, your guides step in and help guide you and let you learn what you need to learn, know what you need to know, and give you choices in the reality you want to create for yourself in that aspect or in that dimension. So ultimately, guys, like when we cross over, we don't really die. We just finish our human experience, and dependent upon our level of vibration, the thought that we're holding about ourselves that kind of keeps our energy bundled in together, were thoughts and ideas, right? My camera keeps moving because I keep touching the cord. It's just gonna still be there in the other realm, and then we'll just be creating in a higher level reality. Things probably will manifest a little bit faster. So it's just more dreamlike, I would imagine. Or at least the higher up that I've gone, guys, the less physical reality is and looks. So when you're shifting dimensions, and I've had this happen before too, they look very different. Some of them are geometric shapes, like it just like the solidity of everything becomes less. Sometimes it gets more cartoon-like. But it ultimately, like, the vibration of everything starts to kind of fall apart, and you just get more light and colors the higher you go up. So more geometric shape-ish, which makes sense because ultimately our universe is the universe of light. I don't know what other universes are, but everything truly is light, just vibrating at different frequencies. So therefore it takes different forms, and the under construction of it all, from what I understand, is sacred geometry. The next one I get asked is there a heaven? Is there a hell? So same kind of concept of what happens to you in the afterlife. Ultimately, guys, because we think these ideas, they do exist, and we've manifested this into our physical, I say physical world. We humans have manifested the idea of heaven and hell based upon, I want to say, religion. Who knows where those ideas came from? I'm just going to guess they're metaphorical places that we've created to try to explain light and dark energies, because we don't really understand them or why darkness exists. But yeah, I think now we do. But you know, it's kind of like how the Bible is one of the greatest metaphorical stories that describes creation. That is part of it. Now we just take it way too freaking seriously, of like there's a man in the sky that throws judgment, and we call him God, and therefore we think it's something separate from us. Therefore we think heaven is something separate from us. Therefore it's just creating the idea that there's something better than this existence, that we're just waiting to die and hopefully get there. We've lived a good life, which unfortunately takes our power away from us, and takes even the possibility, if somebody believes that, the possibility to create heaven here on earth, which is why I think we're here in the first place, is is to be a channel of that energy, because there is nowhere else to be, guys, but here, right now. You can already be in heaven and create that and connect to that energy every single day, because it is part of who you are. It's part of you. And yes, the darkness is too, because of the human experience, but you can transcend those energies as well too. It's neither good nor bad, though it's neither heaven nor hell. Those things just exist, and they exist dependent upon the logic that you assign it. So if you think heaven is good, then it's good and it feels good, right? If you think hell is bad, then it's a bad place and it feels really bad. If you just see these things as different levels of frequency and ways of being, and it's not to say too, guys, that angels and demons don't exist. They're just beings without bodies. And the more energy that you give these beings of your attention and belief, the more that they can manifest in your life and create with you in your life. If you think about it, guys, I mean, we've given angels personalities because of the idea of what they are. The unique bundle of energy that is them is very similar to what you are. The idea that is yourself, the soul, the unique bundle of energy that is you, your blueprint in this body, right? Just an angel is a higher level of frequency. The same thing with a demon. They're just a lower level of frequency, and you can create with any of it. It's your choice. Anyway, hopefully that answered your question. Do you come in Earth with a life plan and lessons to learn? I used to call it Earth School, guys. I've reframed my mind a little bit to a higher level of thinking. When I associate reality or even like anything with school, I think of it as challenging, and I don't want to think of life as challenging. I don't believe life is meant to be hard. We've manifested that idea that life is supposed to be hard, or some people have, and they hold that belief, and therefore life is very challenging for them. I don't see it as a challenge, guys. I just see it as experiences of where you couldn't have that anywhere else. And from these experiences, you gain wisdom, and then you're able to take like this unique journey with these experiences and just bettering and bettering yourself. And I guess, you know, that's the whole point of the soul, is just an evolution and exploring itself through the act of creation. And you create with these energies, right? I mean, I guess that is what it is. It's not like, even if it's lower level frequency, you're still creating your life with that energy if you're holding that, right? So you're just assigning what is good and what is bad and manifesting it here. So I like to look at life as a game of creation and just ultimately trying to be the highest version of yourself. And that thought about you is going to be always ever changing. And we get to experience lower level frequencies here and have a delay in time. So then we can actually like take a journey instead of think something in the spiritual realm and then ultimately we become it. You know, we actually get to see it play out. You know, it's almost like you're watching a movie of your own life is what the soul is really doing. And I mean, you enjoy watching movies, don't you? So it's kind of like, this is what it is. It's just a live action movie. And you are the main character, and your soul literally is really just watching you through it, because it's the consciousness. It's really the consciousness choosing energies to play in the body and then creating with it, with the decisions that it makes and the choices that it makes in a life. And we hold on to like so many, I want to say what we think is important, attachments, ideas, stresses, like, I don't know. It's just the way the human is wired, the way the body tries to keep itself safe. You can't have that experience anywhere else. And we just take life too seriously because of all the shit that we hold on to, because of all the ideas of what we think we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing, when ultimately, like, all that matters is that we're happy doing what we're doing, that we're living a life full of love. You know, everyone thinks that they come in with a set plan, and maybe you do. But ultimately, I feel like the end goal is just to be the full embodiment and highest idea of yourself and to live a life full of love. And that's going to look different for everybody. And it will be ever changing. So who's to say that it was destiny to begin with, or potentially like you changed your mind and created it. Do you make soul contracts? This is another one that is very similar to whatever your belief is, because I've had spiritual teachers say that yes, you do have soul contracts. Just like I'll compare it to the Bible of Jesus and Judas. Jesus told Judas that he had to kill him, essentially, like it was part of the plan. So that's basically Jesus saying that they had a contract. But it could be also as well too that Jesus tapped into that timeline, and he was reading the energy, and he knew that this had to happen in order for something else to play out. Like ultimately that was destiny. Who knows that if destiny was created in the spiritual realm, or if Jesus just felt it in the moment, that was the timeline he hopped in on at the moment. Who's to say it was all part of the plan, or free will ended up getting them there eventually? I think it's the same of like, you have free will, you get to choose. It's part of it, of being here. You have the mind of God. Now, some people can say free will is an illusion because of our programming. That basically dictates all choices we make, whether we think we're free or not. We have the conscious choice to actually change our programming. We'll say that. So we'll call that free will. But you get to choose a different reality, and therefore each reality that you choose differently, meaning different thoughts, actions, habits that you're holding that maybe you don't like, you want something better, then that ultimately attracts new souls into your life. Maybe you were on a timeline that you had to have somebody in your life and made a contract with, and then they had to hurt you. And then from that hurt, that heartache, then it like up-leveled your energy. It broke you open to new beliefs or faith or love from the universe, which ultimately that's what trauma does, or can do if you allow it to work through you like that, and turn to God for love, or turn to love to guide you through the rest of whatever your reality. Then it brings in new people similar to that vibration. You start creating from that vibration, and then you start thinking and becoming a new person. So it's really hard to say what made a contract with that person, or ultimately that contract was formed between a choice that you made along your path that attracted that person that wasn't originally part of the plan, but you learned something about yourself. Different ways to think about this. Just dependent upon like ultimately what you believe. That's all what it boils down to. That's the underlying theme in all of this, guys. If you haven't caught this already, it is ultimately your belief and your level of faith in it. If you believe 100% in something, it's called a knowing, and that is your clear cognizance. And that's just when people know that like this is it, this is how it is. And that's not always everyone's reality on those same knowings. Like they could know something completely different, you know. It's all a reality designed for your highest benevolence, okay? And what you believe will manifest. Whatever you think, good or bad. If you believe something, it is your reality. So that's what it ultimately boils down to. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a fun one to make. I have made some afterlife videos before, describing more about the energy side of it and the vibration side of it. Go check those out. I will put them in the link below. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll address them. I'll make another video if you would like, over a certain topic that you want more information on like, you know, heaven, hell, or spirit guides, angels. So cheers, my dears. Have a beautiful day.